6,250 pounds, big, beautiful, basically does it all. Freedom Express 287 Bunkhouse Ultralite here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This is a lightweight trailer for big people looking to do big camping. It's got a taller interior, a longer bed, outside kitchen, dual entry doors, full access with the slides closed, walk-on roof, and a partridge in a pear tree. RVing, I mean the R in RVing stands for recreation. You're looking for things to be simple, easy, and fun. Being able to access everything in an RV when the slide's closed accomplishes the simple and easier parts that help you have more of the fun parts. That's what this one does very well. You can basically get to everything. You can see that you can walk through here. We have easy direct access to the bathroom, and yes, the bathroom door can open without hitting the slide out fascia here. You can get to your bunks very simple and easy. We'll come back to this little widget in a second. Through the main entry door, you do have, no access to the bedroom, but the second entry door here on the Freedom Express accomplishes that. Some folks are weirded out about a second door to the bedroom. Remember guys, you always have a deadbolt here, and this deadbolt next to your bed is no different than that deadbolt next to the kid's bed. So the thing with floor plans is a lot of manufacturers build very similar layouts. The phrase that I like to use is that RV R&D does not stand for research and develop. It stands for rip off and duplicate. But they each have their own unique qualities. You know, just because they're laid out in a similar way doesn't mean they're interchangeable. So what is it about the Freedom Express that sticks out for me? First thing I've noticed is, and I mentioned this outside, it's bigger, it's taller, but at 6,250 pounds, it's not heavier. And how they accomplish that, we'll talk when we hop outside, because there's a couple very specific ways they do that. They have a 6'9" linear interior clearance. That means we have a taller slide out, we have taller cabinets, we have taller bunks, taller shower, and just a generally bigger, more open feel. RVs in the lightweight industry don't do that. What they'll do is they'll go with 6.5-foot walls instead of 6'9", and then they'll bubble the roof, they'll vault it. And the idea there is to save a little bit of weight and money, and frankly it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not condemning it, it's different. But it doesn't give you the same benefits that the taller ceiling has that I just covered here. Now, other little extra details in this, like if you notice that little accent lighting in the bottom of the slide, as well as above the slide out in that cabinet up there, as well as up here. You've got one switch for all these handy little accent things. They look neat. It brightens the camper up, but at night it's an amazing little nightlight to be able to see around here, which is just a handy dandy feature for sure. Now this table over here, being a freestanding elliptical based table, it can basically only do everything. So I like I just talked about this morning actually on a Jayco travel trailer, but it's got the exact same dinette arrangement. And really, it's interesting. The Jayco J-Flight is the single best-selling RV out there. And really, if you really look at it, the Freedom Express in a lot of ways has kind of become the ultralight version of that. They've done an awesome, awesome job of it because they have like the same dinette, they have the same table, they have the same interior height, a lot of the same layouts. It's very interesting, the duality of those two brands, and wouldn't you know it, Freedom Express is just screaming up in popularity right now. But they've accomplished this all kind of independently. It's sort of like when two different cultures discover gunpowder at the same time. Weird stuff like that happens in history. Anyway, so first of all, before I get too far along, whether it's this table, the countertops, in the bathroom, anywhere, it's all thermal foil, which means a sealed edge press membrane where water's not going to get in there and sponge and swell and cause problems. But back to the dinette. I like a booth dinette with a free-floating table the most, personally, because I can do anything I want with it. It can be a four-person seating area to play games or have food or whatever. You can move that table over here when it's like movie night or something like that. I can take the table outside. Even though this RV has its own outside picnic table already included, I can actually double that up and take another one outside when we really want outdoor buffet time. I still have storage below this that I lose to the freestanding table. And I'm bigger than my wife and kid, especially around the midsection. I can cheat the table over toward them. Notice too though, big windows. They're very good about big windows in here for light ventilation. You notice that your slide side windows will open for airflow. And it throws some people off, but I love, personally, the minimalist way they've dressed their windows in the Freedom Expresses. Instead of those cheap cardboard boxy valances or what looks like a bed sheet hanging down off the wall, it's just a single purpose dedicated valance, and I love that it's decor neutral. So the only thing that changes with decors are just these skins. This is the darker one called Russet. It's proven far more popular in our bunkhouses. There's a lighter one called Cashew, also available. Now, the decor names in the Freedom Express also change a little bit when you go to Liberty Edition. Now, Liberty Edition, in case you're wondering, is the exact same RV at its core, but it's like with a trim package upgrade. We've found that in this class and category, the standard Freedom Express gives you everything you really, really need, and it does it extremely well. So let's talk storage, let's talk kitchen. Now, I say all the time that every RV is the best for a different reason. What I think Coachmen, as a brand, does better than anybody else is storage. These cats know storage, and they know storage out the wazoo. You have a literal walk-in closet. I can literally close the door behind me, and I'm actually hoping right now, yes, okay, there is a door handle on this side of the door. I was kind of wondering if I hadn't just locked myself in here. I'm capable of doing stupid stuff like that. You know, getting on my cell phone and asking someone to come bail me out. It's like when you're in the public bathroom or like at work and somebody turns the lights off when you're in there and you're like, somebody please come back and turn on the lights, but I'm embarrassed. Anyway, so back to the point. Wow, I got off topic big time. Huge storage in here. Walk-in coat closet and pantry, but what I walked in here and I was like, why aren't the lights coming on? Well, you don't need to. The kids can get to the lights in this closet. I love little stuff like that. The TV is big, and it's easy viewing anywhere on this swing-out articulating arm right here. So if you are sitting at the dining table and you want to swing this sucker around, you can. But this also makes it easy to get to the plugs in the back of the TV in case you feel like adding something onto it. I've only got one hand, so I got to move around it to close it. Awesome little phone charging station. But notice how, like, the TV plugs are not occupying one of these. So you've got all the USB and household plugs in the world you need to charge up whatever devices you happen to have with you. Bluetooth, DVD, slices, dices, juliennes. Moving on. Cabinetry. You're going to see all hardwood cabinet door framing. The cabinet styles themselves are pocket screwed. If you open one of those cabinet doors, you can reach around the back of the style and you can feel the pocket screws. And a shoe garage. Now, this is one of the rare times I actually feel like, wow, man, you maybe overkilled it with a shoe garage, especially considering this walk-in pantry you have right there. But some people are not going to want a pile of shoes getting in front of the mac and cheese boxes in here. And that's kind of one of the things I like about this in the Freedom Express is they gave you the choice on how you're going to handle the storage. Now, remember how I said everybody builds kind of the same layouts. What did they do different here? Normally, this TV enclosure is going to start right next to the refrigerator. Freedom Express did extend their floor plan a little bit, but you gain a full dedicated kitchen pantry. You're not relying on this to be a pretend pantry. You have a real, true, dedicated pantry, or if you need extra hanging storage, it can be an extra closet because they use adjustable shelves at Freedom Express. And also, you're going to find all of the drawers in the Freedom Express to be fully plywood boxed with beveled tops, meaning they're not a splinter factory if you touch it up here. And they're full extension. Nice and easy, not particle board construction. So our refrigerator does have magnet-friendly metallic faceplate, so the fridge can be other things other than just a fridge. You can use it for stuff, even if it's just the kids' little artwork for the day. Taller ceiling means taller overhead cabinets. You're going to see that they have plenty of prep space, and I think that's one of the things that's made this very popular. A lot of people are just like, oh, I love this L-shaped prep area right here. It's funny because a lot of your Keystone brands have been doing that for years. I don't know why all of a sudden everybody just took notice to it, but hey, c'est la vie, whatever. Again, remember, sealed edge countertops. Liberty Edition will give you a solid surface right here, but all you're really getting the benefit of there is just kind of eye candy, because this is already sealed edge. Now, last year they had, and I did like them, they had these big hardwood floating cutting board tops on there. But a new stove became available that has these nice little backlit night lights here that, in conjunction with all the other accent lighting we already talked about, will make this thing very evening time friendly. You'll really be able to see around here. Plus, being recessed instead of elevated, it is a little bit more friendly on prep space. Do the wedding ring test. You can hear that is stone cast, not plastic. So stone cast is rated for up to 500 degrees, but it's not metal, so it's not going to rust, you know. Now, here we've got drawers, and real drawers, not little sponge drawers, all the way down to the floor. They didn't waste anything. And then you have my favorite, the Freedom Express Utensil drawer. And that's how I hear it in my head every time. There's a lot going on in my head that you don't hear, guys. Like, if you think I say crazy stuff, you should imagine the things I don't say. Anyway, What I like about this, it's the best use of space under a sink I've ever seen in a camper because it wraps around the sink instead of those stupid, worthless sponge doors that I hate. You get something that's actually super duper useful and friendly, and you can take this thing with all your silverware outside to the outside picnic table that's included with it, and then bring it back in when you're done. It's a dual purpose, awesome little feature right there. Full storage below these guys right here. Liberty Edition will give you full extension drawers, but you can actually put bigger, heavier stuff in just inside of a door because you don't have to worry about like load bearing or anything like that. So there are advantages both ways. Neither is wrong, they're just different. And it seems like a lot of brands who build this floor plan have adopted this concept of this extra wide sliding. It's kind of called like a farm door or something like that. But it just makes it so that, like, you know, a big normal size adult, you can just walk into the bedroom. You're not doing that travel trailer shuffle to get in here necessarily. Now up here, you can see that you've got these dual purpose lights. You can tap it once for a blue reading light. You tap and hold it and bang, we get a nice bright white light. A lot of lights in there, and we do have, of course, you know, LED ceiling lighting. All the lights in this are going to be LED and very high intensity. The vent above the bed is something they added a few years ago, and it just provides extra airflow, if nothing else, but it's really not hard because this is not a laminated roof. If you wanted to tap into the electrical here to put a fan or something there, easy peasy, ladies and gentlemen. We do that kind of stuff in our service center all the time. Call for quotes on that. We already talked about the second entry door giving us full access to everything when the door is closed, plus we've got our TV hookups up there in the corner. And if you notice how much real estate you have to work with, you could put a pretty ridiculous oversized TV in there. Now, it is extra tall, and I mentioned when we were outside, we also have a full, real queen bed. 60 by 80 queen bed, not a 74-inch camp queen. So if you feel like putting a topper on it, replacing the mattress, whatever you want to do, or if you're just taller like me, you're going to enjoy the longer bed. Bedside stands here with household and USB outlets, so whether you're charging a phone, powering a CPAP machine, whatever, you're going to be good to go. Alrighty, what else we got? We talked about the swing out TV, all of that, central air. Oh, the floor ducting. There is none. They do cabinet ducted heating in this so that there are no floor vents to collect dirt and debris, especially you can see in your main traffic zone right here. Now when the hide-a-bed is open, one of the nice things about this is it does not cut off the camper when it's in use. To me, that's just a really smart design feature because if you do, I mean, you've got bunks over here, you've got tons of sleeping in this thing, but if you do use the hide-a-bed for sleeping, then it's just one less thing that you have to deal with in the morning because you don't get like stuck halfway in the RV. Over here, we got the kitty climber rock wall, as I like to call it, another one of my little nerdisms that I shoot out there from time to time. Kids have a ball with this. It's just a way that makes things really fun for them going in and out of bed. And what I do like too is that it's not extremely obtrusive. It's not a full wall, so it leaves us feeling a little more open. You can see that when you're going down the road, what you can do is for general cargo use, or you can back bicycles in here, and you have space right here for handlebars to be sticking out. You can use this as something like a cargo storage garage. Now, it freaks some people out whenever you can see construction. Now, understand that normally this bunk is in the down position, so you're never going to see any of that, but you're seeing it right now, and I'm not hiding it, and I'm not shying away from it, because what I see here, as a person who's looked at RVs for a very long time now, I've seen tens of thousands of them, is very positive. Because if you notice, we're not looking at leftover Luan and OSB scraps. We're looking at purpose-dedicated, like, lumber, basically. Real wood construction under this thing, and that's why these bunks have a heavier weight rating. And notice too that upper bunk right there has a big crank open breeze window that's going to be functional on rainy days. The bottom window that we're not looking at right now also has your fire escape window for plenty of airflow. So more household and more USB plugs up here for the kiddos on a rainy day to keep themselves occupied. So maybe the older kiddos can kind of come up here. And here's another thing. Each bed has its own curtain. You don't have one master curtain kind of messing with the whole thing. The only trick with the master curtains, they don't mess with the upper bed too much, but the bottom bed, if the kids are trying to pull the curtain open or close, they tend to pull down. Well, you know, when it's all the way up here, you could rip that out of the ceiling. With it being right here, it's just not nearly as stressed, and it seems to hold up better. Porcelain, foot flush stool here to keep your face away from your business. Plenty of legroom, and an extra tall shower. I do not have the lights on in the shower because we have a full skylight here, and even without my head in the bubble of the skylight, I've still got plenty of headroom in here. It's one of the other things I love about a Freedom Express. I've been accused many times of speaking with too much bias about the Freedom Expresses that we have here at Haylett RV. It's because it's a brand that I look at and I go, I really like what they're doing here, and I really see how this is a brand that my family could use and enjoy, and I really respect what these folks do. They are one of the most highly copied brands on the market in the lightweight world, and really, to an extent, Freedom Express has defined the current generation of ultralights because they were really about the first that went to full-size campers. Usually ultralights used to have smaller floor plans, they had smaller interior ceilings, they had smaller slide outs. Freedom said, forget it. We want big slides. We want tall ceilings. We want all the cabinetry, man, but we just don't want the weight. How do we do it? So let's step outside and learn about how they accomplish that without sacrificing structural integrity, because that's the key. So the million-dollar question, how are they bigger but lighter? And there's one major factor that goes into that. And not only is it a neat thing, but it has so many supplementary benefits. It is not a lesser expensive thing, though. But Freedom Express has been so good about standardizing things that they've been able to control the cost of it. If you look in the door jambs, you can see that white board stuff right there. What is that? It's not Luan, it's AZDEL. It is, I think, like 80% melted pop bottles. Anyway, the majority of it is just, you know, recycled, melted down plastic. So it's recycled and it's green, so you can feel good about that. But it's a resin. It's not wood. It cannot rot, mold, mildew. It's, depending on who you talk to, they say 40 to 60% lighter than Luan, so I'm going to split the difference and say 50% lighter. And the longer the trailer gets, the more dramatic a difference it makes. Like if you look at the 19-foot Freedom Expresses, like the 192 RBS that we have here, it's not really any more or less weight than anything else out there. But when you start getting into these big super slide guys, you start looking at them going, God dang it, how do they keep the weight down on something that big? And this is a big factor why. Beyond that, we've got all aluminum framed walls, floors laminated on this to keep the weight down. You have an aluminum perimeter roof. You have a full walk-on roof we'll talk about as we go here. They have put together a dynamite package on this. Another thing that they were really one of the first to just jump all over, especially in the lightweight market, but really in trailers period, is this massive front pass-through area here. It's, I don't know, it's something like 42 cubic foot of space or something like that. It's big, guys. And I've got my battery shut off right now. I always forget about this because most campers don't have this, but you actually have a full-length LED light runner all along the length of the basement, just like you have under the awning, so you can see in here when you're loading and unloading. This is also a neat place to get to see the linoleum here. The diamond floor actually goes down before anything else, so all the furniture is built on top of it. It's extremely hard for this to cold crack. The picnic table, sometimes it's white, sometimes it's black. If the camper we have in stock has a different color table from what you see here, don't have a heart attack. It's the same table. It just depends on what supplier apparently is dealing with them that day. Because they build so many Freedom Expresses, they actually have to have backup suppliers. So they include this. This isn't an option, it's just there. They started doing this during their 50th anniversary package, and it just, people loved it. They're like, wait a minute, this includes a picnic table? So they played with it a little more, and they gave it its own dedicated storage space, so you don't lose any of this monster pass-through. It's awesome. And again, aluminum structuring everywhere, and double-sided welding even on vertical welds, which not every brand does. Simple solar prep if you've got a silvery solar suitcase available to you right there. We've got magnet catches on all the baggage doors, even in a non-Liberty model like this. Liberty, you may upgrade to slam latches on these front doors right here. The nose cap on this, you've got a standard 3/4 nose cap on Freedom Express with a lot of structural integrity behind it. I can walk up there and fist pound it, but for some reason when I do that, people are like, oh no, he's beating on the campus again, Lodi. Well, I'm not going to do that. Well, maybe I will. Watch this, because you know what? It's my video, not yours. My point is, though, I can pound all over this thing and I'm never going to hurt it because it's full. It's like an extra thick candy coated shell on the front of that, LED accent lighting on the front, which again, I leave my battery off on the outside. I always forget about that on the Freedom Expresses till I'm out here anyway. Power tongue jack is an upgrade we've applied to this, so keep in mind. But I mean, I don't know that we've had a Freedom Express in stock without power tongue jack, and I don't even know when. It's just what we do. Up front here, Freedom Express, again, being a trendsetter, they were one of the first. It used to be the battery would be located located behind the tongue jack and the propane behind. And they said, well, if we flip it, suddenly we can put a second battery on if someone wants to go boondocking instead of park camping. So they leave you the room to do that. By the way, all new RVs at Haylett RV include at least one battery, 2 if the RV requires it, like a 50 amp service unit. We don't charge you extra for things like getting it cleaned, putting batteries on, filling the propane tanks, electric water surge regulators. We show you how it works, we clean it. We don't charge you extra for stuff that you're supposed to have with a camper. Anyway, tongue mounted spare tire. Highly unusual. Very, very uncommon. It's there for 2 main reasons. One is load equalization, so that weight in front of the camper tows better than weight in the back. The other is if you feel like adding a bike rack to the back of this thing through one method or another, you will enjoy the fact that the rear bumper is now wide open. So you don't really have the load constraints on the bumper, because you don't want to put bike racks and a spare tire on the rear bumper. Now, if you go reading through the guidelines, I'm not trying to smoke screen anybody here, any owner's manual says don't put stuff on the rear bumper. Everybody and their brother knows it can be done. I'm not recommending that you're doing it, but frankly, Freedom Express knows a lot of people are going to do it anyway. So they do try to do their best to accommodate those folks. You know, they do let you kind of choose your own adventure that way. We've talked about AZDEL. We've talked about all the windows that open for ventilation. The windows are UV tinted to give you more privacy inside to keep it cooler. And I mentioned earlier, this has a walkable roof. For more on that, we turn to our senior RV roof analyst, Josh the RV Nerd. Josh?
Thanks, Josh. Freedom Expresses have walk-on roofs. I know, because I'm walking on one right now. Back to you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Hard-hitting stuff there. Okay, moving on. Back in this corner, full. I love all the hookups are in one corner. Freedom Express rocks at this. They are very good about having a centralized hookup station. And this is what I mean, guys, when I say all the time how, again, maybe I'm biased or whatever, one of the things I like about Freedom Express, the intelligence of their design, is that they make it so like all of your hookups are in one spot. This thing is combed, pressed, and dressed for an actual owner, not necessarily for a salesperson. You know, there's not just like marketing gimmicks in here. This is day-to-day use and function superiority for the end user. Now, we've got a black tank flush and even separate cable and satellite hookups, so you don't have to juggle cables and cords and stuff. It's just smarter. Now, the rear ladder is another option we put on these, so you can get up on the roof like our senior RV roof analyst Josh the RV Nerd was there with that in-depth field reporting. But the point is, oh, by the way, I don't ever recommend, don't strap stuff to the ladders. That is not what the ladders are there for. The ladders are there to get up and down the roof, and that's it. Don't strap bikes to them. Don't strap picnic tables and blue tanks to them. That's not why they are there. And I know, guys, I know they make bike racks that are designed to hook up to the roof ladder. I don't care. I don't recommend you put anything there. So back to the benefits of the Freedom Express instead of why I hate ladders, because I got off on another tangent. Saw something shiny. Awning, power awning. It does have tilt. It clears both entry doors, so you don't have that one door that's gonna like spritz and spray you. Outside kitchen back here, and I love that they really do a pretty killer low profile outside kitchen in these. So like a lot of, you know, RV outside kitchens, we've got the electric refrigerator out here that is electric only. You do need shore power for that. We've got a real sink with a real drain that goes into a holding tank, not just onto the ground. Now we've got more of that waterproof countertopping out here, but notice how it goes all the way back. This has a just ton, I think metric ton anyway, of countertop storage. That's obviously the wrong terminology. You get the idea. There's a lot of square foot of counter space here, probably more than basically any other outside kitchen I've ever seen, and they use this all over Freedom Express. Now for outside cooking, instead of the little 2-burner black RVQ grill that the more I talk to people, the more people are really unhappy with that, they have the free-floating Coleman camp grill back here. It feeds off those standalone pressure bottles, and why I like that is you can take that thing anywhere you want. You want to grill right here? Do it. You can grill on the picnic table under the awning. You can grill at your buddy Dave's house in that Cardinal fifth wheel over there. You can do whatever you want, wherever you want with it. And it's a high output grill, meaning if it's a windy day, the wind is not going to gust and blow the flame out on that. Basically, that grill will work up to the point that you shouldn't be outside having picnic time. It's just kind of that simple. So next to the wide stance stability axles, we have outside TV hookups for tailgating. But let's take a minute to look at these, because Freedom Express, again, was a trendsetter. They were one of the first to really do this big time across the board on any model that needs it. So this is a pretty long camper. You know, with the weight and everything, you're going, ooh, this is easy for my half ton. A lot of half tons are short beds, not long beds now. The shorter the wheelbase of your vehicle, guys, here's an easy way. The tighter your turning radius, the less ideal your vehicle is for towing, because a vehicle that can turn easily can get pushed sideways easily by a trailer. That's where these guys come in right here. They help you cheat the wheelbase a little bit by spreading the axles. They help the trailer not be pushed around and be quite so wiggly. And also, it does help with the trailer bouncing front to back a little bit and load equalizing going down the road. So if you have any other questions on her, give us a call. 800-256-5196. Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. We only do, what's that, Jody? Everything? Hitching? Everything. Hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between. So, give us a call. And these things are on wheels. I don't care where you live. We can get them there. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.